kind of going back to this other video I want to play.
Japan scrambled.
Japan is feeling the heat. First it was China and now Russia is piling the pressure. The two superpowers are testing the resolve of Tokyo. Japan, which is already facing heat from China over its comments in Taiwan, is now witnessing a new threat over the horizon. And our next story takes a close look at the two Asian powers as to how they moved their pieces. And Japan is feeling the pressure. Take a look.
Tokyo woke up to a new threat. Russian and Chinese bombers roared in the skies above, conducting joint patrols right on Japan's doorstep. It all happened in the wee hours on Tuesday. Russian Tu-95 strategic bombers met two Chinese H-6 bombers for an 8-hour patrol from the Sea of Japan to the East China Sea. While Moscow and Beijing call them routine flights, Tokyo is anxious because both the heavy bombers are built to carry nuclear weapons. The horror of these weapons of mass destruction is painfully etched in Japan's collective memory. Along with these frontline bombers, China and Russia also sent their fighter jets. China deployed its J-16 fighters, which were joined by Russian battle-tested Su-30s. Their route raises suspicion and anxiety in Japan. The bombers flew between Japan's Okinawa and Miyako Islands, right through the heart of Japan's air defense zone. In response, Japan scrambled jets and implemented air defense identification measures. South Korea too said that 7 Russian and 2 Chinese planes entered its air defense zone. The message to Tokyo is clear: a China-Russia united front over Japan's skies, a warning which the island nation can't ignore.
The repeated joint bomber flights by both countries signify an expansion and intensification of activities around our nation, and we cannot but view them as a show of force against Japan. We consider this a matter of grave concern for our national security.
The escalation comes days after Japan accused Chinese jets of locking radar at Japanese military aircraft. Beijing disputes the charge. It has released an audio clip to show that prior warnings were issued and confirmed before the incident took place. Taiwan too is on the tenterhooks. China has sent its aircraft carrier warship via the Miyako Strait. The region is now on the edge. What began as a war of words over Taiwan now threatens to blow up into a new theater of war in East Asia. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
So once again, the thing is about Russia China drills. Russian and Chinese bombers carry out joint patrol in Japan's skies. And that's an update right there for you. Because Russia is going to team up with China to get this third war started. This is the second address 15. Actually, the second address 16 verse 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, This is their plural wars. And China right now is already in conflict with this Taiwan situation, that island on Taiwan. And here you have Russia doing joint drills with China. Okay, so what does that tell you? You already had North Korea helping Russia with in the Ukraine war as well. If I'm not mistaken, I think Vladimir Putin was in the North or China's military and joined their to watch their military parade. And we go into this year, 2025, September of this year, 2025. It says Vladimir Putin, president of Russia, did attend China's major military parade in Beijing on September 3, 2025. Commemorating the 80th anniversary of World War II's end, standing alongside Xi Jinping and Kim Jong-un in a significant show of solidarity against the West. The event showcased advanced Chinese weaponry and emphasized growing ties between China and Russia, with Putin's presence highlighting an axis of upheaval against U.S.-led order. Key attendees was Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un. And when you look at the U.S. military parade this year, it wasn't anything special or big. Some of the weapons that they showed, or tanks, chariots that they showed, were of lesser owned and they had stocked. So yeah. And so going back to Second Edges 16, 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mourning is the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evil is what shall I do when these evils shall come. God, this is gonna come. In and out, whether you like it or not. Like 33 right here. Check this one out. The virgin shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The woman shall mourn, having no husbands. The daughter shall mourn, having no helpers. And the wars, right there once again. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. Once again, right there, famine. That's what happens when a war, a serious war, breaks out. You got a siege warfare, and famines always are happen when the war comes to a land. Back then, they used to take villages. Okay, famines would happen, imprisonments, and it would just be a bad and dark business when that would happen. I think it's Zephaniah 1 here. Zephaniah 1:15. That day is the day of wrath, the day of trouble and stress, the day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. You know, it's the thick darkness, gloominess. What does gloominess and darkness mean? It means death. And I had a dream where the weather looked like a dark and gloomy weather. Anyways, Zephaniah 1:16. A day of trumpet and alarm against fenced cities, trumpet and alarm because of the wars. That's when he said they set up a trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against high towers. It's talking about America, a world war breaking out in America. They're also going to end up coming over here too. these EU troops and whatnot are going to be coming over here as well. And raping women. This is in Isaiah 13 and 14. Yeah, anyway, this is Isaiah 13 and 14 here, buddy. It says here, and it shall be as the chase sparrow and as the sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own house and flee everyone into his own land. Everyone that's house. It's funny how these idiots out here outside, they don't even know what this is going on. This is what the fuck is gonna happen. Whether you like it or not. It's gonna be force fed in down your fucking breathing hole. Everyone that is found shall be dressed through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. They're charted up. Yeah, their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Right? Yeah, it says, their houses shall be spoiled, I mean, their shit all thrown out. And their wives ravished. And right, ravished there means raped, groped, forced to grope, fully groped, whether she likes it or not. That's gonna happen there. Yep. Let's go into the same thing basically, y'all. These are things that's gonna be happening, coming to pass here soon. Woman raped, woman ravished. That's gonna happen as well. So just bear with me for a second here. Just got this other phone here. And this is also I'm gonna get Job chapter 26, verse 11. The pillars of heaven tremble and are astonished at his reproof. So the earth's gonna shake once again. Isaiah 24 and 20. It shall reel to and fro as a drunkard. Job 26 and KJV verse 12. He divideth the sea with his power, and by his understanding he smiteth through the proud. By his spirit he hath garnished the heavens, his hand hath formed the crooked serpent. God, the Lord is going to destroy that crooked serpent here, Leviathan here. It's devil, it's infrastructure. By his understanding he smiteth through the proud. And who's the most proud? Esau's the most proudest nigga. That's why this is Job 18 and 5. The lamp of the wicked man is snuffed out. The flames of his fire stops burning. The light in his tent becomes dark. The lamp beside him goes out. The vigor of his step is weakened. His own schemes throw him down. His feet thrust him into a net. He wanders into its mesh. A trap seizes him by the heel. Like Jacob grabbed Esau's heel. A snare holds him fast. A noose is hidden for him on the ground. A trap lies in his path. Esau is trapped by the Lord ultimately through the prophecy. Terror started him on every side and dogged his every step. Let's talk about Esau. Terror startled Esau. Calamity is hunger for him. Disaster is ready for him. when he falls, and they haven't fallen yet. It's gonna start with wicked ass Jakes, wicked ass other nations, People are distracted by this. I'll read this here. Trump says U.S. prices are coming down tremendously. Here's what the data shows. President Trump delivered a message Tuesday even aimed at the millions of Americans struggling to afford daily necessities, saying his administration is crushing inflation and that prices are coming down tremendously. Economic data tells a different story. Prices have edged higher for much of Mr. Trump's first year back in the White House, with inflation in September rising at an annual rate of 3%, the most recent available inflation data because of the recent U.S. government shutdown. Inflation dipped to a low this year of 2.3% in April, but it has steadily ticked up since then and now stands at the same rate as in January, when Mr. Trump was inaugurated. Federal data shows economists attribute the rise partly to the Trump administration's new tariffs on imports, with Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell pointing to those levies as a key factor behind the recent uptick. Inflation now is higher than earlier in the year as inflation for goods has picked up, reflecting the impact of tariffs, Powell said at a press conference on Wednesday to discuss the central bank's latest interest rate cut. So all these numbers I don't know all about, but this is all going into Secondary 6 and 22, and suddenly shall sown places appear unsown, and full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. That's really what this is going into. See, they don't care about you niggas and specs, and we just read how it's Revelation 6, and we just read how World War III is going to break out. This is Revelation 6 and 8, and I looked and behold a pale horse. Well, actually, verse 6, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, measure wheat for a penny, 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou heard not the oil and the wine. Yeah, so a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. That's a day's wages there. And that's what's going to happen. And come here, come. I have this article as well here. This is from the let's go into this here. Title is entitled here, Elon Musk's Neuralink brain chip now helps users control robotic limbs with dots. Neuralink posted a video on its X account featuring Rocky Stoltenberg, a patient who was paralyzed in 2006. Elon Musk's Neuralink brain chip now helps users control robotic limbs with that. It says Elon Musk's Neuralink has made a major announcement as its brain chip now enables users to move robotic arms using only thoughts. This marks a milestone achievement beyond the device's previous functions, which allow control of computers and smartphones. It literally posted a video on its X account featuring Rocky Stoltenberg, a patient who was paralyzed in 2006. In the video that is making rounds on the internet, the patient demonstrates his ability to move a robotic arm using only his thoughts, guiding the limb to his face and kissing it. Okay, so this is all going once again into the mark of the beast ultimately. It says that down here in the first 9 months of 2024, Neuralink implanted its device in 12 patients. The trial's first participant, a man who was paralyzed after a spinal cord injury, used the implant to play video games and chess. Elon Musk stated that over 10,000 people have joined Neuralink's patient registry in hopes of participating in future device trials. And I gotta get the classic Revelation 13. Star 16, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. That's what this chip is going to do, and that no man might buy or sell except he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom of him that has the understanding of how the number of the beast, for this is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Count the chip, Neuralink. So going back to that article here up here. The device BCI is currently undergoing clinical trials to test its initial safety and functionality in patients with mobility limiting conditions. So this thing is only going to spread more and more. They say, while shedding light on some of the future plans, they added, over time we plan to expand the range of devices controllable by a Neuralink. Neuralink was founded to help paralyzed patients. And this is a Neuralink going into, once again, as well. Second Thessalonians 2. Verse 9, even him who is coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness or unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them a strong delusion, and they shall believe a lie. God, so these people are all going to believe a lie, and they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness. God. So it says right there in verse 10, 2 Thessalonians 2 and 10, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish. So this ancient serpent, the devil, the ones in power, the ones controlling the whole earth and the resources and laws and land and stuff, and you people, they are the wicked, and they're in power. They're in power, and when you go into Genesis, the 25th chapter, and this is the 4th chapter, the third chapter, that serpent's going into Esau, Edom, so-called white men in power today. That's why, hence the mystery being called the mystery of iniquity. There, doth already work. Even him who's coming is out there working with Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, and that's a power and a sign and lying wonder for Esau to be able to use the BCI to help this man walk again and move again, which he's ultimately using it for wickedness. So that's why the scripture prophesies about Esau here, the end of him. In 2 Ezra 6 and 9, it says, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth come." In GNT 2 Ezra 6 and verse 9 or 7 or 8, he answered, "The interval will be no longer." Or 7. Then I asked, "How long a period of time will divide the ages?" Ezra here was asking about the end. When will the first age end and the next age begin? He answered, "The interval will be no longer than that between Abraham and Abraham. He was the grandfather of both Jacob and Esau. And when they were born, Jacob was holding Esau's heel." Esau represents the end of this age, and Jacob represents the beginning of the new age. So if Jacob's hand is the beginning and Esau's heel is the end, do not try to find the space in between. Yeah. So that's what's happening, and that's what's coming here. That's already what's taking place here. Esau the serpent is going to come out with a Neuralink, of course. I'm not sure if I got this article. It's just from The Guardian. It's entitled here,